So we go on to specialization. What is specialization? The concentration of an individual, firms, countries in one aspect of production. So that means you as an individual, you concentrate on what you know how to do best. A firm concentrates on what it can produce at the highest capacity. The country concentrates in producing what they can produce to the highest capacity. That is specialization. So here it is the concentration of individuals, firms, and countries on certain aspect of production. So we have two types of specialization. We have individual. So when we talk about individual, it's basically division of labor, because division of labor will lead to specialization. How does division of labor lead to specialization? There's going to be a certain individual who has been given a certain job to do. So that individual continues to concentrate on that aspect of job or function. Then he gets better in that job. Then it becomes his own specialty. That is how division of labor will lead to specialization. Do we understand? Yes. There's a certain individual who has been given a certain job to do. He continues or she continues to do that job. Then she gets better in that job. Then that job becomes her own specialty. That is how division of labor leads to specialization. So what is division of labor? It is the breaking down of production processes into different stages, and each stage is being performed by different people. So we broke down the production process in this class. So you are going to take one aspect, it's going to take one aspect, it's going to take one aspect. So you concentrate on that aspect continuously, then you get better in it. I have divided your own job. I gave him his own, I gave him his own. So everybody has what they should do. Then you continue to do this. That's what we mean by division of labor. Is it clear? Yes. Then we have regional specialization. This applies to a state in a country concentrating on one aspect of production. For example, let's say Tripoli. Oh, in Tripoli, there are a lot of fishermen in Tripoli. They know how to fish. That is the aspect of their own production. Oh, in Tokyo, there's a lot of accountants in Tokyo. So Tokyo is what? A financial empire. Oh, in Lagos, there are a lot of financial people there. Oh, in London, there's a lot of financial people there. Oh, in Paris, it's about fashion. Oh, in Milan, it's about fashion. So this is what we mean by concentration on one aspect. Do we understand regional here? Yes. Then we have international specialization. This brings us to countries dealing with other countries. So because Libya can produce petroleum, it could have a trade relationship with Turkey that does not produce petroleum. Maybe Turkey produces other things. So there's an exchange between Turkey and Libya. Because Libya has concentrated in one aspect and Turkey has concentrated in other aspects. Do we understand? Do we understand international specialization? Yeah. International specialization brings about trade, international trade, which is trade relationship. Is it clear? Mm-hmm. So, what are the benefits of specialization? You have a question? One, efficiency gain. When we talk about efficiency gain, because there's specialization, the resources we use will be used efficiently. We won't waste resources. That's what we mean by efficiency gain. So look at what I wrote here. Specialization makes a better use of scarce resources. As a result, productivity increases, leading to an increase in the country's GDP. So, because we are not going to waste resources anymore, due to the fact that we know what we are doing, we are producing what we know how to produce. So that means we're not going to waste time, we're not going to waste resources. This will mean that our GDP will what? Will increase. Because our output will increase. Is it clear? Mm-hmm. Two, labor productivity. Because now you have concentrated on one aspect of production. I have concentrated on what I know how to do best. Then I get better. Then my output will improve. My productivity will increase. Your own productivity will increase. Because the more you do it, the more skilled you become in it. When you continue to do one thing, then you get so well in it, you improve in it, then it improves the productivity. Do we understand? Mm-hmm. When people are able to concentrate on what they know how to do, they will get better in it. And that's productivity. Is it clear? Yes. The third one, increase productive capacity. So international specialization can help to shift the PPC to the right, outward. What are we saying here? Because this is a production possibility of a country. They produce goods and services. So if this country puts its concentration in producing services or in what do we call it? Not producing. In delivering services, Like India is good in IT. Do you know India is good in IT?
Yes.
Okay, so that is one of the strengths of India. So if India concentrates on that aspect, it will shift the output of service on that aspect outward from PPC 1 to PPC 2. Do you understand? So the production of goods and services, if you concentrate in producing goods, and this is what you know how to do best, your output will increase because you have concentrated on one aspect of what you know how to do. So a country that concentrates on one aspect of production will shift its productivity outward. That means your output will what? Increase. Is it clear?
Yes.
Economies of scale. Economies of scale. Now that we are able to produce what we know how to produce, it means we will be able to use our resources judiciously. It means we'll be able to use the resources we have without waste. And what will happen afterwards? Our cost of production will fall because we are using the resources we know how to use. Unlike when you are doing what you don't know how to do, you waste resources, you waste time, you waste money. Then you will continue to incur cost. But when you do what you know how to do, you would not waste time, you would not waste resources, you would not waste money. Then your cost will fall. So because you have concentrated on one aspect that you can produce at a large scale, then there's economies of scale, which is what a cost advantage as a result of you producing a large quantity. Is it clear? Then the last one, improved competitiveness. Now that there's specialization and there's international relationship and international trade, Turkey can deal with Libya can deal with Tunisia can deal with Kuwait, and so on. So if we are unable to get what we want from Turkey, we could choose other countries to get it from. We could choose China to get it from. So there's competition because there's what international trade. So if this country is not selling for us, other countries will sell. There's globalization. So globalization has bring the world so close. Do you understand? So you can have any relationship, trade relationship with any country that you feel or you wish to choose from. That's increased competitiveness. Do we understand? So with specialization, you can concentrate on one aspect and you can deal with any country that you choose to deal with because there's which is what the concentration of individuals. One concentration of individuals, concentration of firms, a country, a region, in one aspect of production. We talk about the advantages. Now we need to talk about the problems of specialization. The first one, over-specialization. When we talk about over-specialization, I wrote specialization can make regions, countries, or firms to be vulnerable as they may have to depend on others for production. Because there's specialization, it means that you are able to produce a certain product. Then, for the consumption of other products that you can't produce, you need to rely on other people or other countries to produce them. Then you become vulnerable to them. Do you understand? Because your own effort is basically on what you can do best. Then, whatever you can't do that is left for others to do, then you might be vulnerable to them. That means you have to rely on them to consume those things. Do you understand what over-specialization is here? You become too specialized that you don't know how to do other things. You can't produce other things. And this makes you to rely on others for whatever you need to consume. Do you understand over-specialization here? Is it understood? It could also happen to companies employing workers that are specialists. If they are not available, then the job is not done. Because they are employed basically for that aspect. So if they are not available, it might stop the production process. Is it clear? That's what we call over-specialization. 2, high labor turnover. What is labor turnover? The number of workers that leaves a job at a given period of time. That's what we call labor turnover. So this may occur when specialist workers choose to find jobs that are more challenging and less boring. Specialists, they get to boredom. You know what boredom is? Everything becomes bored and they don't have that zeal, the motivation to continue. As a result of this, they might start looking for a new job. They might start looking for a job that is more challenging for them. Do you understand? So this might mean that you continue to lose specialist workers because they are bored, they need challenges. I just stop that. Is it clear? Yes. Do you understand high labor turnover here? Specialist workers, because they get bored, because they want something challenging, they might choose to find other jobs. clear?
Yes.
The third one, no labor mobility. What is labor mobility? Labor mobility is the ability of an individual to be able to switch from one profession to another. You are a doctor, like I was a banker, now I'm a teacher. This is what we call labor mobility. Do we understand what labor mobility is?
Yes.
You being able to switch from one profession. We talk about labor mobility. Labor mobility means what? An ability, the ability you have as an individual to be able to switch from one job to another. A lawyer becoming maybe a newscaster or news broadcaster. A teacher becoming a banker becoming a teacher. This is what we call labor mobility. But with specialization, there's what? Low labor mobility. Why? Because workers are specialists. They lack the flexibility to be able to switch jobs. Do you get what I'm talking about here? Specialization will make you to get strict, get focused on one job, one aspect of production. This is what you know how to do, that's specialization. With specialization, your focus will be on one aspect of production or one aspect of service. Then you know how to do that. So it means whatever comes that is not what you know how to do, you won't be able to do it. That's what we mean by low labor mobility. Because you are a specialist, because you are a banker, that's all what you know. You are unable to become a teacher. Oh, because he's a dentist, he's unable to become a physician or an optician. So this is what we mean by low labor mobility. So people won't be able to switch jobs, professions. Do we understand? So in a specialization, you become rigid. You lack skills to do other things because you are a specialist. Do we understand?
Yes.
The fourth one, lack of variety for consumers. With specialization leads to mass production of certain goods, which makes it difficult for consumers to find alternatives. Because there's specialization, 7 countries, 8 countries, 9 countries can produce the same thing. Because that's what they know how to produce. Do you get it? So as a result of that, like the Organization for Petroleum Exporting Countries, there are a lot of countries that have petroleum. Yes or no? So because this is what they have, this is what they can produce, they might not try to produce other things. So when you go there, they will tell you this is what we produce. So you need petroleum, yes, we can give you that. We need this, we can't. This is what we can. So we have a lot of homogeneous products because of specialization. Do you get what I'm saying here? We have a lot of products that are of similar use because of specialization. Homogeneous. Is it clear?
Yes.
And the last one, cost. These are for firms. Specialist workers demand for higher wages. So for you to employ specialist workers, you need to be able to pay them. And because of paying them, it increases your wages. It increases your cost of production. Do we understand cost here? So look at what I say. Firms that employ highly skilled workers, specialists, may need to pay higher wages, which in turn increase their cost of production. Because you have to specialists like surgeons, they take a lot of money. They are specialists. These people, whenever you need to employ them, you need to pay them more. And because of paying them more, it increases your labor cost, which is what? A cost, and increasing your cost of production. So these are the problems of specialization. Is it clear?
Yes.
Any question about it?